In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10-4-6, PL 1975, C-231 S1, amended 2006, C-70 S2, the Asbury Park Board of Education has provided adequate notice of this meeting by sending a notice of the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda of this meeting to the Asbury Park Press, the New Coaster, on January 8th, 2021 via email. Copies of this notice have also been placed in the Administration Building Bulletin Board, District Schools, Asbury Park Municipal Building, Asbury Park Police Department, and filed with the City Clerk on January 8th, 2021. The Asbury Park School District will provide all students with a comprehensive and progressive education where everyone possesses the skill and character to succeed in a diverse, evolving global society. Roll call, please, Mr. Hastings.
Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Ms. Breach?
Here.
Ms. Cook?
Here.
Mr. Grillo? Mr. Latarocco?
Here.
Mr. Reddy? Here. Mr. Saunders? Ms. Lozinski?
Here.
Ms. Etienne?
Here, can we please stand for the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll be starting with the committee reports. Mr. Remy?
Buildings and grounds.
Yes, please.
All right. Good evening. So Buildings and Grounds, we met December 9th. A few things that we discussed was a facility use request. The district is processing the application from the Asbury Park Little League, updated insurance certificate and fee. As they are a Class 2 user, no board approval is needed for approval of their use request. We also discussed about the solar landscape update. Solar Landscape has completed placement of the solar panels at all schools. Bradley, Thurgood Marshall, and the upper elementary schools have been connected to the power grid. The high school is scheduled to be connected Saturday, December 11th. It's just that. And all projects are waiting for final inspection by the City of Asbury Park. The committee also discussed the request to remove trees from the front and the side of the high school. 7 of the 14 from the front and 3 between the music room and the media center due to shading concerns. Any trees removed must be replaced at a location of the district's choosing. Administration will meet with the Solar Landscape to discuss options, including waiting until the spring to determine the amount of shade coverage. Architectural services, ESSER proposals. The district architect and engineers walked all schools to evaluation HVAC systems, science rooms, media centers, and auditoriums in preparation for issuing bids and coordinating use of ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 funds. And Asbury Park High School stadium repairs, administration have received 2 additional quotes for cement repair at the stadium. Quotes have been provided to the architect for review. And that concludes the Buildings and Grounds agenda.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments?
Just one question. Were the quotes more in line with what we were expecting? I know we had some issues with the previous contractors and architect.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Latarocco, would you like to?
Finance Committee, we discussed a recent court decision that could result in the award of the lost aid under S2 back to the district. Suit brought by, I believe, Jersey City School Board and the Educational Law Center. Potential return would be almost $13 million in aid that we've lost now over the last few years, ever since S2 was implemented. The state does have the option to appeal the decision. Administration has reached out to everyone with regard to any guidance, county, state, and we've received none. So we do have to continue with our standard budget process at this time, assuming we're still going to experience S2 aid reductions, that will get our number from the state with regard to what next year's budget will be at the approximately end of February, and we'll stay on track, but obviously administration, as well as I'm sure the board, very anxious to see what might occur from this litigation. We also discussed, again, if this money is returned, does not mean that everything we were doing for the past 3 years and those cuts that were made, that the identical cuts would be restored. We're a different district, and we discussed how the district is changing demographically, enrollment-wise, and what may have to be done. So if the money does come back, there will be a whole new budget planning process with regard to that. The other good news, we've received a recent award of $281,989 for emergent or capital maintenance use. Administration has completed and submitted the application designating the update and the repair and refurbishment of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Upper Elementary School elevator. If you recall, we had put out bids on this a while back, and we had put aside over $200,000 to cover it. The bids were well above that, and we as a board determined we needed to, at that point, hold off and come back to the issue now later. So with this grant and with putting aside some money from our budget, we feel confident we're going to be able to accept the bid, and we'll go out to bid again on elevator repair. We also discussed the architectural services that was just mentioned, and solar landscape. If you haven't, maybe you'd like to drive by the high school, you get opinion of, seems to me, problematic area are solar panels that are above both the library and I believe the CTE area. Is that correct, Mr. Hayes?
Yes, that's correct.
So we hope to be able to keep a number of the trees that have been mentioned currently under the contract. Trees would be removed and replaced at no charge with regard to solar landscape under the contract, but we'll have to see when we can actually make that decision. And then finally, as we began to discuss the budget, we reviewed resignations and retirements, got a basic understanding of, some of these are going to have to be replaced, but there will be some savings, some significant savings right off the bat. Those savings obviously are passive savings from individuals deciding to resign or retire. As we look again as how the district is changing and look at the certification mix of staff that we have, planning for the budget, and if there is that significant over $6 million cut in the budget, we'll have to be more proactive about where we're overloaded versus areas where we need additional people. As a board, we'll also have to come back and look at how we're doing in terms of increasing the Asbury Park contribution to the budget, and I'll bring numbers as to what percentage we've achieved in light of where the state formula puts us. We are still relatively confident to say we're still below every other district in Monmouth County in terms of the percentage of the state formula amount that we should be paying. So we'll have to come to a determination on that. And that concluded the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Lotterocker. Are there any questions or comments? No? Comment? Do you have comments?
Okay, we met, the athletic committee met on the 9th. We spoke about the Thanksgiving game, how we did. We won, but we gave a trophy to both teams. It's a friendship game, so that was the determination that both teams received the trophy. We also sold 1,315 tickets. It was a very well-attended game. We made a little over $6,500, which was deposited back into the account. So it was a very successful game, all the way around. No problems, no issues. Everyone had a good time, and it was a great day. We spoke about the winter sports are boys and girls. Their first home basketball game is December 21st. If you guys want to attend that, that'll be at the high school. We also are posting our spring sports coaching positions. I think that's out now, if not soon. We spoke about the videographer for the varsity games. We're going to have the assistant coaches assist in filming and the team manager filming the games. So we have that back. We're going to, it's on the agenda right now for a new equipment manager. The old equipment manager resigned, so that was posted. We have a position that's going to be approved tonight, hopefully. Our media day for our winter sports. We won't have a date per se yet, but we're going to have it done in-house instead of going, hiring another agency. Ms. Jackson will be taking care of that. And we're going to be doing the, starting with grades 6 through 8 and then go to high school. So we're working on a schedule right now. I'll let everybody know. Hopefully, probably sometime in January we'll have our media day. And that will put out to everybody via email. And that concludes athletic committee.
Thank you, Ms. Breach. Are there any questions or comments? Mr. Grillo?
Yeah. Thank you. So with policy, there was some policy regulations from the last update, which was 225. They were adopted at our last board meeting. Those were the only updates. And then the committee also continued its conversation about the electronic devices and how to best address lost or broken Chromebooks, tablets, that kind of a thing, and seeing what's the most cost-effective way of doing this in a way where it's not necessarily punitive, and seeing kind of the cost-benefit of getting tracking software for electronic devices. The big problem is that the cost of placing an app or some sort of GPS app on over 2,000 devices, it may be a little too expensive, and the cost of that versus the cost of replacing 100 devices, we really have to balance that. We left it open. The conversation is going to continue, and see how we're going to mitigate that, and do a little bit more research to see what's the most cost-effective way of doing it. So, and that's about it.
Thank you, Mr. Grillo. Are there any questions or comments?
Do we have a number as to how significant the problem is with failure to return or lost electronic devices?
I think Jeff had mentioned a number during the committee meeting. It escapes me right now, and I apologize. But I think, what was it? If we had put these GPS devices on 2,000 devices, it comes out to an exorbitant amount. Right. Whereas the 100 devices, more or less 100 devices that either get broken or get lost.
Okay, so that's what it's been. Out of the 2,000.
Right, so we have tech coaches at each building that help us track and handle devices. if a student comes in and the device is broken or isn't working, they address that and swap out one that's in the building so the student can continue to utilize it. And then the issue is obviously if it's broken screen or dropped or those sorts of things, or it's lost, left it somewhere and don't remember where. Those get into the costs associated with replacing the units. So, as Mr. Grillo indicated, the committee looked at the cost benefit of that, and it seems more expensive to put it on all the devices versus replacing a certain number.
Okay. The other part is that was discussed was the fact that a lot of times the devices, we want there to be consequences if folks aren't taking care of the devices, but at the same time, we don't want it to be punitive towards families that are already having a tough time as it is because somebody accidentally dropped a tablet or something like that. So I think it's something that warrants much more discussion and seeing where the best benefits for it. So.
Thank you, Mr. Grillo. Ms. Cook?
Good evening, everyone. Okay, so recommended board approval for some school trips coming up. Also recommended board approval to develop and submit applications, for the AmeriCorps Day of Service meeting grant. The meeting grant is to use for service grants commencering the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The total grant is $5,000. Also submit application for immersion and capital maintenance of the NEED grant. The purpose of the grant is to address immersion projects as well as capital maintenance projects, especially for facilities also to address the COVID-19 concerns. The grant is $281,989. And also looking for approval for school Saturday preparatory academy. The program will run every Saturday from February 5th, 2022 through May 20th, 2022, 11 session Saturdays. The purpose of this program is to provide an increasing intensive instruction to match the students' needs based on the current performance level and rate of progress. The program consists of 1 hour ELA, reading and writing, and 1 hour math instruction. Breakfast and security will be provided. The program will be funded through the SIA funds, totaling cost of $24,794.50. And that is all for me. Oh, I'm sorry. And one more thing that Joe announced.
Oh, yeah. So, I feel like it's so far away. So, during the meeting, we discussed how there were a couple of professional journalists that had reached out to me and kind of saying, hey, we'd love to know if we noticed that the high school doesn't have a student newspaper, and we'd love to volunteer to help students who may be interested in forming a journalism club to start a Blue Bishop student newspaper. And I thought it was really an interesting idea. I think it's something that it's great to have professionals that love Asbury Park, love our kids, and offered up their services. These are professional journalists from Gannett, from I forget something in Ocean County, and they kind of want to help both kind of any interested student that would want to learn about print journalism and what the ethics are and all that part of it, kind of like the fundamentals of journalism, and then put it into a student newspaper. I thought it was a fantastic idea, so I brought it up during the curriculum committee meeting, and I think there was positive support for it, and I'd love to see how we can go forward with kind of getting that together and getting people in a room to discuss how to make that happen. And I'm assuming it would be it would start with like a journalism club or something like that. So, and testing if there's any interest out there from the students. What do y'all think?
I thought the committee thought it was a good idea. And I'm Sure. Did you forward some names to Dr. Adams? Or were you
Yeah, I didn't because I wanted to bring it up here first. But Dr. Adams, if that's all right, I'll send you the names of a few of the folks that kind of brought it up to me that they wanted to volunteer their time and experience.
That would be fine. Probably also an option would be possible internships leading into some summer opportunities leading into the fall. So that way the students who are interested starting in the 7th and 8th grade up through 9 through 11 at least have some experience and exposure to the actual print journalism process. And so we could look at maybe facilitating something like that during the course of the summer into the fall. But I think right now most of those clubs and other things have already kind of been set up for the academic year. However, looking into what they may have to provide for a summer internship would be great. Not only the print side, but also the virtual aspect as well. So it would be totally encompassing of taking from print to also utilizing the virtual space as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's, I think having that kind of support and giving those kind of opportunities to interested students would be fantastic. So if it's all right, I'll forward that info to you.
Yeah, and plus the other thing we want to communicate, the security screening process for volunteers on our end is a lot more tighter than them providing internships on their end, and we could provide more students to have opportunities there as opposed to having volunteers on this end. So yeah, we'll get us the information and we'll try to coordinate with them to try to set up something.
Okay. Are there any additional questions or comments? Okay, at this time.
I would just have a comment on the Saturday program. I think that's a great idea, and whether we can acknowledge either from the committee or Mr. Ruiz, those who have conceptualized, developed, and then the teachers who are involved in it, because that I believe that's a very positive and worthwhile approach toward our district goals and where we're trying to go.
Yes, it is. Just so you know, that came to us from Ms. Thea Jackson Byers from Bradley Elementary School. And if you recall, right before the pandemic, you guys all approved this similar program, and we only got to one session because then we went out. So this is just us going back to something that we've already had planned in a previous year. And I'm excited for it because the students are excited. We haven't hired the teachers yet. That'll be at the next month's meeting, so you'll start to see names. But there are a lot of interested parties, and we normally get a very good turnout. And if everybody knows Ms. Jackson, you know that they're going to have a very successful program.
Okay, at this time, we're going to be opening the floor for public participation. Please come to the podium, state your name and your address and your comment and or question in 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Deborah Lorenz. I live at 200 DeWitt Avenue in Asbury Park. My son is a student at the intermediate school, MLK. He is in 6th grade. He is in a self-contained special ed program, and his IEP says that he should have a one-to-one. I was unaware until his conference on December the 1st, which happens to be his birthday, that he has not had a one-to-one in place since around November the 3rd. In the past couple of weeks, since I've been in contact with a bunch of people to try to make sure that there is adequate coverage in his classroom, the coverage in his room has just completely fallen apart. Today, as a matter of fact, the only person that was in his classroom was the main teacher. There were no aides. The main aide needed to leave early. She is the classroom aide. And the other one-to-one was absent. My son has not had a one-to-one. And it was only the teacher in the classroom. It is my concern that this will obviously happen again. It's the holiday season, people are out, people are requesting off. There is no backup plan, and that is very concerning to me. My son has a health issue in addition to being autistic and a flight risk. He also has type 1 diabetes and is fragile diabetic. He can go from 400 blood sugar down to 56 in a matter of an hour. And if there's not somebody watching his signs and symptoms, he can become critically ill. The other day he stole a Pop-Tart during snack time. I don't know if the staff knew that he stole a Pop-Tart or gave him the Pop-Tart. In any case, he didn't make it down to the nurse because people were distracted because there were only 2 people in the classroom where there should have been 4. His blood sugar rose to 406. The nurse needed to act quickly, call his doctor's office, check him for ketones, give him a shot. All of these things could be very detrimental to his everyday health. So that is extremely concerning for me. His IEP says he needs a one-to-one for a reason. Asking a classroom staff person who's supposed to be watching 4 other kids, not my son, is not fair. Not fair to that aide, not fair to my kid, not fair to anyone, especially not fair to my kid. So that needs to be remedied as soon as possible for everyone's sake, especially Jason, because it's not fair to him. So I just wanted to make sure that I went on record to express my concern about this. I know that people are working very hard to do it. I am a special ed teacher in a private school. It is very difficult to find substitutes. I see it everywhere. Perhaps you need to come up with another plan offering teachers some kind of incentive to use their prep periods to cover in other rooms. I did work at another school where they did that. I see I have 10 seconds left. So if you could come up with something, anything, to get bodies in there to cover that room, because they really need it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your turn. No, we can go now. It's with my niece.
My name is George Gilia.
I wanted to go first.
I'm a crossing guard at Drew High School. And my concern is for the safety of the students and also the safety for me and the other crossing guard that is down on Comstock. We have had so many posts mishit of myself and the student because the people ignore the stop sign.
Excuse me, ma'am, I hate to interrupt you, but could you please put the microphone closer to you just because we do want to hear what you're saying? Thank you.
That's good?
Yes, ma'am.
Should I start over? Okay, I am a crossing guard at the school up there, at high school. And that Sunset Avenue Road is like a freeway for the cars, the trucks, and whoever want to come down there doing the speed. I myself and a couple of kids just missed from people ignoring my stop sign and keep going. Now, what I would like, and I know it's probably not in your budget right now, or maybe it won't ever be in there, is put at least one speed bump in front of the school so the people will know when they get there they have to stop and they can't do 35 or whatever miles an hour they're doing. If not that, then maybe you can get the speed limit down to 10 miles an hour instead of 25 miles an hour. That is the concern for the kids, and it's concern for me because I don't want to get killed up there. Thank you.
Are there any additional comments and questions? Any other questions? Mr. Hastings, do we have anything?
We do not.
Thank you very much. So at this point, we're going to be closing the public participation section.
Madam President, can I make I just wanted to make a quick announcement, if that's okay.
Let me close the public participation.
Yeah, that's right, before we...
Oh, you need to do it during the public participation?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I thought you were closing the meeting.
Oh, no, I was closing the public participation. So this, yeah.
I'd like to address just a concern of the parent. since public participation is closed. I just did meet with Ms. Lorenzo, our Director of Special Services, Ms. Lau, will be meeting with her. As you know, we do have some challenges regarding our percentage of staff and around the holiday time. But we will be working with Mrs. Lorenzo and her son to address what her concerns were. And we do have a plan of action at the MLK Upper Elementary to address those needs.
Thank you. Mr. Grill?
Sure, thank you, Madam President. So I just want to make an announcement. I don't know if folks are aware, but the city of Asbury Park has created a participatory budgeting committee. And for those of you that don't know what PB is, participatory budgeting, it's essentially the city will allocate a certain amount of money. I believe it's $250,000 for this first year. And folks will be able to actually present and vote on specific projects that they would like to see that money go to. And that $250,000 would be split in a few different projects. I believe it's 3 or 4. But the great thing about a participatory budgeting committee is that you don't need to be a registered voter. You can be 14 years old or older to be on a participatory budgeting committee. And all you need to be is a resident of Asbury Park in order to sign up and apply for that. I had been contacted by a few people, and actually Councilwoman Chapman had asked me to relay this message that they are prioritizing and looking for high school and middle school students from our school district to kind of apply and participate in this really unique and incredible committee. And it's a really unique opportunity for students that are 14 years or older to participate in a civic committee like this. Usually you have to be 18 years or older. You need to be a registered voter. For participatory budgeting committee, you don't need to do that. So I wanted to just inform that and let everyone know that this is a really great opportunity. Councilwoman Chapman has already recruited somebody from the Sisters Academy and from, I believe, one of the charter schools as well. And she had asked if we can identify students in the high school and the middle school that could also be a part of it. So
Thank you, Mr. Grill.
We have 4 students that will be participating, and Mr. Ruiz will be providing those names.
Awesome, thanks.
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act allow for the exclusion from discussion at the public portion of this meeting of certain matters as outlined below, and whereas the Asbury Park Board of Education wishes to discuss such matters, will make such discussions public when the proper conclusion has been reached. Now, therefore, be it resolved that on December 16th, 2021, the Asbury Park, New Jersey, for the purposes outlined and described below, upon return, action may be taken.
And for the members of the public who are present, and for those who may be watching elsewhere, the board is going to retire into executive session to discuss matters of attorney-client privilege, personnel matters, contract matters, and school safety matters. It's anticipated that the board will be returning at or around 7 p.m. Thank you.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10-4-6, PL 1975, C 231, S1, amended 2006, C 70, S2, the Asbury Park Board of Education has provided adequate notice of this meeting by sending a notice of the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda of this meeting to the Asbury Park Press and the New Coaster on January 8th, 2021 via email. Copies of this notice have also been placed at the Administration Building Bulletin Board, District Schools, Asbury Park Municipal Building, Asbury Park Police Department, and filed with the City Clerk on January 8th, 2021. The mission of the Asbury Park school system is for the Asbury Park School District will provide all students with a comprehensive and progressive education where everyone possesses the skill and character to succeed in a diverse, evolving global society. Roll call, please, Mr. Hastings.
Sabas Anderson. Here. Ms. Breach. Here. Ms. Cook. Here. Mr. Grillo.
Here.
Mr. Lataracca. Here. Mr. Remy. Here. Mr. Saunders. Here. Ms. Lozinski. Here. Ms. Etienne.
Let's please stand for the flag. We have a presentation today.
Yes, Madam President. We have several presentations this evening. As you know, we've started with recognizing our students, but this evening we'll also be recognizing our Educators of the Year and our support staff members of the year for our 4 schools. So those in attendance, let's give them a round of applause real quick. Then we will follow up with 2 presentations, one which you see up on the screen, our WIDA Access Score, followed by a presentation from our staff from the Thurgood Marshall Elementary School. So I would like to start with the principals. 2 of our principals are not here this evening. However, I believe we have a staff member from their school here to represent them. So I would like to start with the elementary school. Students, have Mr. Medina and Dr. Jackson come up, as well as I believe Ms. Amanda Napolitani will be representing Bradley Elementary. And we have someone from the high school. Mr. Provenza, would you mind standing in for the high school? Oh, Ms. Kropowski, excuse me. Sorry, Ms. Kropowski. Okay, thank you.
Nadir, please, Nadir, please come up. Nadir Muhammad Purvis. So really quickly, I'd like to discuss, or rather share with you that Nadir is an excellent student. He is part of our AE program, straight A's. He's a student that we should all aspire to be like. His work ethic, his drive, his dedication, and he's also a pretty popular kid in the school. So Nadir, on behalf of MLK, I'd like to present you with this slight little gift and congratulate you on a great accomplishment. Thank you, Nadir. Wait, come here, buddy.
Oh, Mr. you take a picture? Come on, stand right next to you.
Here, come on, buddy. Let's come this way. Come on, Dad. Come on. Get everybody.
You want to stand right next to him? Yeah. Very good. You gonna go next? You just shoot it in? Yep.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Jackson, the principal of Thurgood Marshall Elementary School. On behalf of the Thurgood community, we are so delighted to announce our student of the month for this month, Mr. Johan Lopez Ortiz. Please come up, Johan.
You're gonna let him hold it, you're gonna face the camera? That's good? All right.
And Johan, on behalf of our school, we have a book bag filled with all of your favorite things inside. We are so proud of you. Congratulations, sweetheart. And congratulations, family.
Good evening, everyone. Take it out.
Miss Jackson, just hold it farther away from your,
Like that?
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. It is an honor and privilege to introduce Xavier Veradesco. Let me just tell you a little bit about Xavier. Xavier is a 9-year-old student at Bradley Elementary School. He is the youngest twin of 6 siblings, all boys from 22 to 9. Xavier is a very hard worker and is improving in his reading every day. He is a model student and a true pleasure to have in class. With hard work and his love for learning, Xavier will achieve all his goals. Congratulations, Xavier Veradesco. And we just want to say, we know we are honoring Xavier, but we want to say thank you to Mom, because of you, you brought him to us, and so we want to say thank you. We believe in giving our parents their flowers.
Quick picture. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, you want to take a picture? Okay.
Good evening. Mrs. Baumgartner sends her apologies and asks myself and Mr. Provenza to stand in and to honor Miss Jaded Velazquez as the high school student of the month. Jaded is an enthusiastic and hardworking student who strives to do the best that she can at any task. She is extremely intelligent, determined, and does not accept failure in any task she encounters. She is the first to debate a topic and be number 1. She has a beautiful singing voice and really loves to take a leadership role in the middle school. She is creative, talented, kind, and diligent. She always comes to class with a positive attitude and a willingness to help others. She is committed to success and always puts forth her best effort.
Jaded is also a member of our middle school cheer squad who quickly stood out and took on a leadership role on the team. Jaded really liked how I taught this year and saw that I was a volleyball coach as well with Miss Millen. And she just wanted to be a part of that culture that I've created. And she also came to our practices and volunteered and joined and was actually pretty good at libero, which is an awesome, way to start the future, right, for our volleyball team. So Jaded truly deserves this award, and I'm very proud of her. And for the 2021 Student of the Month Award for Jaded Velazquez.
Thank you.
I probably need a microphone. I'm pretty loud. I'm using my cafeteria voice. Good evening again. I'm Dr. Adams, the superintendent here. Each year, everyone in the state of New Jersey recognizes an educator of the year and a support staff person of the year for each school, and then they are recognized by the county in which they live. We at Asbury Park are taking an opportunity to recognize our educators of the year and our support service staff member of the year prior to the Monmouth County Awards program, which will take place in the spring. We wanted to do that now to show our appreciation for the hard work and the dedication that these staff members have done this year, coming in off of a year where we were off for 18 months. So their accomplishments are not lost on the hard work in this trying time. We have a lot of hardworking, dedicated staff, and those members that are being recognized today are just a small percentage of those who work here, who try every day on behalf of our students. And so with that being said, I'm going to call up Ms. Jackson Byers. She will call up her Educator of the Year and her support staff person of the year. We have certificates as well as a medal of appreciation. Sure.
Good evening, everyone. I am going to be brief. Our Bradley Elementary School Teacher of the Year has actually been an educator in the Asbury Park School District for 20 years. She has worked her way up as a student teacher, substitute teacher, paraprofessional, special education teacher, second grade teacher, and our Bradley Elementary School Teacher of the Year has been married 12 years with a daughter, a son, a grandson. She is a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated and was very instrumental in making sure half of Bradley was vaccinated and extended staff. She was our true honorary nurse Betty during the height of the pandemic. It is a pleasure to congratulate Mrs. Shelley Sanders, our Bradley Elementary School Teacher of the Year 21-22. Our Educational Service Professional of the Year is small in stature, but has a big heart. She has been a preschool paraprofessional for 35 years. She earned her associate's degree from Brookdale in early childhood education. She has been married 39 years with 2 sons, 2 granddaughters, and she loves Baby, her Chihuahua. Our Educational Service Professional of the Year is a true survivor. She beat cancer and continues to fight every day to bring awareness. It is a great honor that I introduce to some and present to others Mrs. Anna Santiago Gonzalez, our Bradley Elementary School 2021-22 Education Services Professional of the Year.
Move back.
1, 2.
Stand right there. Dr. Jackson?
Tiara Hamilton and Tiffany. Good evening again, everyone. I am so delighted to introduce our Teacher of the Year and Educational Support Staff of the Year for the Thurgood Marshall Elementary School. First, with our Teacher of the Year, Miss Tiara Hamilton is kind, She is nurturing, she is dedicated, she is committed, and she is an overall exemplary model of what a teacher should be. As a kindergarten teacher at Thurgood, she is always there to support her colleagues, to take on district initiatives, and to showcase her loving nature for her students day in and day out. Parents refer to her as a true support. Her colleagues refer to her as a friend and someone they can rely on for help. And as her principal, I am so honored to have her give her this award tonight. Congratulations, Ms. Hamilton. Our educational support staff of the year is none other than Miss Tiffany Andrews, our reading coach. Miss Andrews is a true beacon of light on the SSTMES. She is always there in her support staff for her colleagues to help, be a reliable source. She is always willing to take on a task whenever there is something needed for the building, the students, the staff, the community, or even myself as a new principal and before as her direct supervisor. She was there. As a committed after-school site coordinator for Thurgood, she has built a fantastic relationship with all of our families, and she is always there striving to make Thurgood the best school it can be. Ms. Andrews, so well-deserved. Congratulations.
And hi again, my name is Perry Medina, principal of Martin Luther King Jr. Upper Elementary School. Unfortunately, my teacher of the year and educational support staff member of the year couldn't make it. However, I will accept their award on their behalf. Ms. Snyder, our teacher of the year, actually started out as a paraprofessional. She made her way up the ranks to teacher and very quickly became a teacher leader. She is someone we can count on, day in and day out, and someone her colleagues can count on for guidance, support, and really just overall the fact that she's there for them. Our educational support staff member of the year, Ms. Lazare Boston, which I'm sure some of you know, has been in the district quite a while. She's a coach, she's an instructional paraprofessional, and someone I admire wholeheartedly. So on behalf of those two fine ladies, I accept their award.
Good evening again. Ms. Baumgartner does extend her apologies for not being here. However, she asked me, Janice Kropowski, to stand in for her to recognize the high school teacher of the year, Mrs. Sabrina Grasso.
A few words about Ms. Grasso. Ms. Grasso was a coach for a while, and I had the pleasure of working with her for about a year or so. She made the transition back to the classroom and did so without a blip, and has been providing solid math instruction for our secondary students. And so, Ms. Grasso, I know this is a well-deserved honor for you. And so, on behalf of the secondary folks, particularly the math department, congratulations.
And we also like to honor the support staff member of the year, Ms. Lene Brown.
So Ms. Brown Foster was also a staff member of mine.
Yes.
Dedicated, hardworking, reliable. There's so many adjectives I could use to describe the effort that she puts forth with our students, that none of them are an exaggeration. And so congratulations on a well-deserved. So again, we're gonna follow up with the last two presentations. There's some feedback. We're gonna start with our reader access scores.
Madam President, good evening. Good evening, Dr. Adams.
Excuse me, just parents, if you want to part, I know you have the little ones, that concludes our student recognition portion, our staff recognition portion of the program.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. Dr. Adams, good evening, board members. This is our annual, very quick, 30,000 feet above the ground, bird's eye view of our WIDA Access District test scores. This exam is administered to all ESL students in grades K through 12 every year. The test is broken down into 4 domains: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And in order for a student to test out of our English as a second language program, the student must score a composite number of 4.5, and that is a New Jersey DOE guideline. So we administer the test in March and April, and we prepare the students based on their previous year's scores, as well as their benchmark scores and their classroom performance. And these are just some slides that correlate to the proficiency levels that the students must move through as they acquire English language skills. So this is our district census as of 2 days ago in terms of our English as a second language student population. Most of our students speak Spanish as their home language. We have 160 Spanish-speaking students who, upon registration, checked off on their registration form that Spanish is their primary language. We have 33 students who speak Haitian Creole, and 3 Arabic-speaking students. And the second pie chart is where the students are located in terms of grade bands. So in grades K through 3, we have 47 ELL students, and in grades 4 through 6, we have 79, and in 7 through 12, we have 93 students. So we have transferred all of our WIDA access data into our Linkit platform, which makes access very easy for teachers. And the language is exactly the same as if they were looking at the written report, the printed report from the WIDA organization. So this is a district-wide K through 12 student scores in listening. This is our best domain, tested domain last academic year. Here's our reading scores. You'll see we do have some reaching, the bridging and reaching, which is toward the test out phase. And then on writing as well as speaking, we are lagging a little lower in those areas. So this year, each student has an individualized learning plan. If they are an ESL student, there are 2 academic goals geared toward data analysis and identification of weaknesses from last year's test scores, and strategic instruction is being provided. And this is just a picture of a data wall from our 7th and 8th grade ESL room, and the students, their goals and expectations are visible for them every day, working toward scoring higher on that WIDA access by 1 entire point this academic year. So that's rounds out the quick WIDA presentation. If you have any questions? Yes.
I have 2 questions. When you say 4.5, can I assume that's out of 5?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
When you say they have to score 4.5, that's out of 5.
It's actually
correct?
out of 6.
It's out of 6. Okay. What do they base that on? Like, what's the criteria?
The criteria is there's a very specific breakdown, which is right here, and also on the bottom of the sample student, but I can send you a copy. There is a mathematical calculation in multiple different areas to reach that composite score, but I can send it to you if
Could you send it to the whole board?
Sure,
And that way,
I'll
We'll
send
make
it
sure
to
that
Dr.
we get that
Adams
through
or
the
Mr.
curriculum
Ruiz
instruction
first thing in the morning.
Yeah. And one other question. This scoring is at, you said 8 through 12? 8th grade through 12th grade, that's it?
It's K through 12?
K through 12, okay.
Yes. Thank you.
I had one question. Was there any indication that I know that some of the kids have been out of school, all of them, for quite a while during the pandemic time. Is there any indication that they did worse because of that, or they did about the same? Or
Well,
have there been...
it's really hard to measure WIDA scores year to year. However, they were a little lower last academic year than they have been in the past. So I can't say that scientifically. I can just say that based on casual observation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kropowski. We'll have our last presentation from Thurgood Marshall. This will be another short presentation just on our academic programs, offerings that is being utilized at Thurgood Marshall. The presenters today are Miss Amanda Napolitani, our reading specialist, and our reading coach, Miss Tiffany Andrews.
Good evening, Asbury Park Board of Education, Superintendent Adams, and administration. I again am Dr. Lauren Jackson, the principal of Thurgood Marshall Elementary School. And tonight, Thurgood is going to be presenting to you on how we are beginning to set sail. And before I begin, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge 3 of our staff members that are in the audience, Ms. Meg Watkins, Ms. Regina Jagu, and Mr. Keith Turpin, who are, of course, a part of this building-wide initiative. So our theme at Thurgood Marshall this year is nautical, everything setting sail, the ocean, the beach, tying into our community. So today we are going to be talking about where we are going in the future. But before we do that, I would like to take a look back on the month-long journey that we've had between November and December during my transition into the building. So in that time, we as a team have collectively rewrote our building mission statement. We've reassembled our building instructional leadership team with teacher volunteers from each grade level. We have implemented behavior plans for individual students in both special education and general education settings, which we will get into. We have planned ideas for unused facilities within the building. We have published our first TMS nautical news. We have conducted a common safe 3-hour emergency offsite evacuation, established routines for our instructional leadership walkthroughs with the administrative team and the staff in the building. We had the largest turnout, the mayor's words, not mine, in the history of Walk to School Day, had a 100% lesson submission rate from all staff in the building, and we successfully began to implement the district-wide Student of the Month initiative at the building level, where all of our young scholars are honored monthly through different initiatives and rewards for their stellar behavior. And photos lend context to 1,000 more words, so here's just some quick photos to showcase the month-long journey before we begin to set sail. So what exactly is SAIL? It is an acronym that stands for a collaborative, building-wide initiative that provides classroom staff, both in the classroom and out of the classroom, with the tools, support, and platforms to increase intentional implementation of instruction that is rooted in data.
Good evening. The acronym SAIL stands for Scaffolding to Advance Intentional Learning. And how did we start sailing? It was a collective feedback from multiple sources. When Dr. Jackson first came in, she had a chat and chew where all the staff got together and were able to talk about where we are and where we'd like to head. There were suggestions from parents and families, input from them. We have weekly walkthroughs where central office comes through, and through that, there is Dr. Jackson put in place a system where teachers get immediate feedback, somewhat global and then specific to that teacher. We're using the Linkit data to help us with benchmarks to see where the students are, using the standards to see where they're struggling, and then focus that intentional instruction on that standard. We also reviewed all of our instructional programs to make sure where we are, we're all together in the right place, and where we're going to move from there. Is that? Driving question. How can we create a system that uses this feedback efficiently and effectively for students and teachers? Okay, so the pylons of SAIL. So these are our pillars of what we're focusing on. Anchors away are our priority standards for ELA and math. We're spotlighting through incentive-based programs. The standard-based programs are hands-on deck, using STEM projects where the kids are creating. And we're charting a map of our journey that we're going on to using data folders, data walls based off of our Linkit data and our HMH data. And our goal is to increase intentional implementation of data-driven instruction. Okay, so our scaffolding spotlight. AmeriCorps tutoring through Dr. Jackson and Ms. Hogan from AmeriCorps. They are planning to have a third grade tutoring session where this person will be coming in 4 days a week and providing tutoring for the struggling third grade students. It's also going to be in-class support, focusing on our core content areas, small group instruction, and intensive reading support, where she'll be working with me and Ms. Andrews on ELA and math, ensuring that she's focusing on our core programs and our intervention programs.
It's my turn. Intentional behavioral supports. We have our sources are our parents, our teachers, our special services, including CST and guidance, our guidance department. Our tiered behavior interventions are individualized student incentive charts with intentional rewards, student interests, individualized student anticipatory visuals, and sensory breaks, recurring team meetings with family. A lot of these behavioral supports are things that are used in our special ed population, but we are moving them to using them with our general ed population also. Here's some examples of our individualized student incentive charts, individualized student anticipatory visuals. Upcycling of our facilities. Currently we have some rooms that are not being used, and so we're looking to change them to a sensory and therapy rooms, mindfulness and meditation spaces, grab and go resource center, which was an idea that one of our kindergarten teachers came up with. Teachers are hoarders. We all are. If you've ever been a teacher, we're hoarders. And so in our closets, we have so many things that are not being used because of grade level changes or whatever the case may be. So we want to have a room that teachers can go to, can grab and go and use different resources that are not being used. Here's our boarding pass, and we're ready to set sail. Come join us.
Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Jackson.
Thank you.
Ms.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. LaRocca.
I'm still trying to understand the Lincoln benchmarks a little bit. Do you identify those by doing, let's take third grade, standardized assessments in third grade, or you bring in the teachers who, based on the standards they're teaching, identify the weakness in a particular
So
standard?
Linkit is a platform and a data warehouse that we use in district. And what the platform does is it takes the learning standards from each grade, really K to 12, and we do it 3 to 4 times a year, depending on grade level or specific situation. And it bridges the skills that the standards are rooted in, that replicates the most commonly used standards on the actual standardized assessments that grades 3 through 12 use. So it's internal data for us then at the building level, at the departmental levels, and at the district level to take grade level data, classroom data. It even drills it down to individual student and connects it directly to the New Jersey Student Learning Standard, so we can identify deficiencies with student learning, or also, on the flip side, identify really significant areas of success for students and then accommodate and modify the learning and instruction for that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you to the other staff from Thurgood Marshall that came to support your colleagues as well. Thank you very much. That concludes my report.
Madam President, 7 board members want to make a presentation. 7 board members want to make a presentation.
Y'all start dancing.
Don't dance when I leave. Where's Joe? He ran outside.
Good to get this stuff.
I know where he's going. Wait for Joe. Where'd he go? Outside?
He did go outside.
And she goes crying again. Thank you so much.
First, I'd like Angela Abez Anderson to come up. Since Angela's last board meetings tonight, and she won't be serving anymore, we wanted to recognize your years of service. And the Board of Education proudly presents this award to Angela Abez Anderson, board member from 2011 to 2021, in recognition of your dedication and selfless contribution to the Asbury Park School District. And we have
It's all right to cry. Let's cry.
Oh, and we have one more board member, Sheila Etienne. This also is Sheila's last board meeting. She won't be with us anymore, but the Asbury Park Board of Education proudly presents this award to Sheila Etienne, board member from 2015 2021, in recognition of your dedication and selfless contribution to the Asbury Park School District. Now, since this is, Ms. Ricks, if you take a picture of us, since this is the last time the 9 of us will be together.
Okay, you know what? Congratulations.
She was supposed to give me a signal.
Did it look like I was just running away?
Yeah.
Well, I got my flowers and my plaque. I'm leaving. All right, at this point, we're going to be opening up the floor for public participation. Thank you so much, guys. I did not expect this. Thank you.
Me too. You know, can I tell you guys something? When I first walked in here, I looked and I started dropping tears. And I told Karita, I said, this is my last night. And I had to keep getting up, going into the bathroom because I kept crying. So I want to say that I love all of you, my rod and daughter, right there. That's Jeff. You know, you always been there for me, and you and Carol, you and I, we go back. Adam, Dr. Adams, Ivy. And my partner over there, my traveling partner, always been there for me. And we've had our ups and downs, Barbara, but you always been there. And I thank you for that. And Connie, I thank you. Dominic, Joe, you know you my guy. And then there's Kenneth. And then our two newbies here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay. But we have our beautiful Karita and Remy, and I'm just so thank you, and John Caplow. So thank you all. I just appreciate it. And Sheila, you know you've been my bestie, so I thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm not going to take too much, but I know we've come a long way since we were running. I'm running and she's running, and I'm thirsty and she has orange juice, and she's like, do you want some of this orange juice? I'm like, no, you're the enemy. I'm not drinking any of you. I was so thirsty. Yeah, but definitely, this has been a privilege. I have more to say. I'll probably say it on our last little half a day, but thank you. It has been a privilege, and I don't think I would feel secure in stepping down if I didn't know that, you know, we had people on this board that can handle it all. Thank you so much.
We're working on the foundation that you two built, so congratulations on making such an impact on the kids and all of us here. So thank you both so much.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to be opening up the floor for public participation. I don't know if I said that already. I don't see anyone running towards the mic. Do we have any emails or any phone calls, Mr. Hastings? Okay, we're going to be closing public participation. We're closing it now. Closed. Madam State Monitor, do you have a presentation or report tonight?
I just wish everybody a happy holiday.
Thank you. You guys heard that. Happy holidays. Mr. Hastings, can we have an acceptance of the minutes for the last?
Yes, Madam President. Could I have a motion for item 9, A through C on A1 and A2?
I'll move it.
Second.
Questions or comments? Ms. Lozinski?
Yes.
Ms. Etienne?
Yes.
Ms. Abbas Anderson? Acceptance of minutes. Ms. Breach? Ms. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Grillo?
Yes.
Mr. Lataracco?
Yes.
Mr. Remy?
Yes.
Mr. Saunders? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings. All right, at this time, Dr. Adams, would you like to ask for a consent agenda?
Yes, Madam President, would you please grant me a consent agenda for all items on B1 through 5.
I'll move it.
Are there any questions or comments? Okay.
Mrs. Zinsky,
Yes.
Ms. Breach? Yes. Ms. Sabez Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Cook? Yes. Mr. Grillo?
Yes.
Mr. Lataracca? Yes. Mr. Remy?
Yes.
Mr. Saunders? Ms. Etienne?
Yes, I'm abstaining. B1, item C.
All items carry.
Welcome aboard, Miss Leanne Benson, who's sitting in the back, our new curriculum instruction early childhood supervisor. Welcome aboard.
Okay, Mr. Hastings, would you like to ask for a consent agenda?
Yes, Madam President. Could I have a motion for all items C1 number 1 to C4 number 2?
Move it. Second.
Any questions or comments? Ms. Breach? Yes. Ms. Lozinski?
Yes.
Ms. Sabez Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Cook? Yes. Mr. Grillo?
Yes.
Mr. Lataracca? Yes. Mr. Remy?
Yes.
Mr. Saunders? Yes. Ms. Etienne?
Yes.
Motion's carry.
Okay, at this point, I would like to ask for a motion to close.
I wanted to know if I could say something, please.
Yes, miss.
To the Subdeco gentleman, I want to thank you for the wonderful meal. And it was delicious. We truly appreciate you and wish you a very Merry Christmas. You're welcome.
Yeah, that salmon was rocking.
Yeah. Yes. May I say one more thing? Okay. And we're welcoming you in a couple of weeks, Mrs. Ricks. And I know that Sheila and I, we're leaving, but we know that with all of you and the new addition, you're going to be rocking right here with us. And so we look forward to your service. So thank you. Merry Christmas.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Fifth.
All in favor?
All in favor? Thank you so much. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you.